Hey everybody, how's it going tonight? Hope everybody's getting me loud and clear here. Let's see. Looks like the microphone is coming in. Yep, everything looks good. Just gonna kick back. We'll see if we get some people coming in here and just relax. I didn't have the stream set to start for roughly 10 more minutes, so we're just gonna relax and chill and just take it easy for right now. We're gonna talk about Downloader. Gonna talk about some networking options, some things you guys might want to look into for your future, as far as what you might want to do for yourself, for your own personal home networks. For reasonable prices. It's not gonna kill your pocketbook. Nobody wants to spend a bunch of money these days. Not like hardly any of us have a bunch of money extra to spend. Everything's kind of spoken for out there. So we'll see how things go here. We're going to have some fun with this stuff tonight. Talking about some stuff. Yeah, it's been crazy what's going on. Everybody's been going kind of crazy over this downloader thing. You know, is it going to be completely blocked? Is it going to come back? News is all over the place about it. And I'll give you my opinions on that as we go forward through this show, what I think you should do, and how I think you should continue to set up your own devices, because Downloader, obviously Downloader is just one thing, one tool in a big arsenal that we have. Let's see. Cancel this. Hopefully what's it saying here about my stream? Let me refresh this. Okay, everything looks good for viewers. Making sure my software is working here. So I do have a Discord link. If you are on Discord, you can come join me there. You can come on the show here, and you can continue to come on my shows through that Discord when I do go live. A lot of my videos are going to start being pre-recorded videos going forward, but where I'm going to edit them and have things set up a little bit cleaner. But I really wanted to talk about this particular issue because it is kind of a big issue that we're all dealing with, right? When it comes to Downloader. Not me so much. I don't really use Downloader, but I know a lot of people do, and it's just crazy how many people I've talked to that are really concerned about this particular thing. But there are options out there. I'm going to talk about a couple of the options for you to be able to use to get your content, to be able to download your apps so that you can get all the apps you want to get. And I see Storm in the chat. Hello, Storm. Let's go ahead and switch over. Why am I not in studio mode? That's all right. Go here like that. Yeah, so Downloader app. So if you don't know about the Downloader app, it's a very popular app. It's used on Amazon devices, used on Google, Android boxes. A lot of people use it across the board on a lot of devices. It comes from this site AFTV News. They actually, what they do is they have their own servers that produce a basically a code, a short code that takes you directly to places. So you can put your website in there, get a short code, use that, and have that short code for people to be able to get stuff from your site. So it's like a web browser. Well, not like, it is actually a web browser in a sense. And that's how it takes you to be able to get your apps and then download and install the apps onto your device, whether that be a Fire Stick, Fire TV, or whether it be a, other kind of Android device. As of right now, I haven't checked to see if it's still available in the Google Play. I mean, in the Amazon store. I do know it was removed from the Google store, which means it probably will get removed from the Amazon store as well if it's not already. I don't know 100% because like I said, I don't really use this app a lot. There's a lot of other options out there. There's a lot of Play stores, including you can just go to websites yourself, save a bunch of websites in a bookmark them in your browser, and download the apps and put them on a flash drive. Install them from a flash drive. You can use an OTG cable that plugs into a Fire Stick or Fire TV device, or any. A lot of Android devices have a USB port on them. The newest Fire TV Cube has a USB port on the back. You can plug in a flash drive. So you can actually install apps that way. That's one of the best ways to get the apps, because you've gotten the app yourself. You've tested the apps out. You know the apps are good. When you get them from different places, you don't necessarily know that. There is, of course, APK Time, another app store type of app. It's an app you install, and it's kind of a store that's got a bunch of apps in it. There are other apps out there like Aptoid. There are, App Linked. So these are all options you have that are, so you're not, if this goes away and say it doesn't come back, you're not completely stuck. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, how am I going to get those apps without downloader? Well, there's other apps out there that will give you access to places on the internet, specifically like my server, which you can find out about in my Telegram group. That particular server is an FTP server, and you can use the Explorer app to go there. That's another option. That's just something I have myself personally. I don't keep it real up to date per se. A lot of other apps out there are way more up to date than that app is. So, you will definitely be better off using some other app stores than my FTP server. I'll be honest. I just use it for myself mostly and give it out to people in my Telegram group if they want to use it. That being said, what we all have to understand is that the reason this app is getting shut down is we're gonna read it right now this is right from AFTV News's website, what they wrote about it. He said, "I need your help. My downloader app has been wrongly removed from Google Play due to an absurd DMCA takedown from Israel TV that claims because the web browser in the app can load specific websites with their infringed content that my app is violating copyright." So in my opinion, this is kind of absurd. I mean, any web browser could probably go to those websites, so you would have to take down every web browser from the App Store in order to stop that from happening. My problem isn't with that. My problem is with the short codes that he specifically targets sites that have pirate TV apps. And those short codes give you an easy access to those apps to install on your Fire TV devices or Android devices. Now, that's aiding and abetting in my opinion, but I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not trying to take anybody down. I could care less if this app is there or isn't there, regardless of anything else. I really, really don't care in the end of the day. Just giving my opinion on the whole situation. I think if he probably would have kept it a straight downloader app where you had to type in the full web address instead of giving short codes, I think you would have less of an issue with people trying to use it. But he does have a short code generator that does that. Now you can use tinyURL. You can use a lot of different places that shortens the link to make it easier for you to type in a site address on a app like this to get to those sites as well. So, but he just made it really simple, where these codes have been float all over the place. You have, master lists of codes that you can use in Downloader to download all types of different things. So, that's the type of thing that has happened with Downloader. It's an app I created for Amazon TV devices. It is the easiest way to download files from the internet onto a streaming device. The app is especially helpful in side-loading apps without the need of additional hardware, like a computer, smartphone, or external drive. The app features a built-in web browser made specifically to work with a remote control. It makes it easy to navigate websites on a Fire TV or Android TV device without the need of a mouse or keyboard, including basic file management. Makes it possible to download and install delete files with the same interface. So this is the whole thing. Now, I'm pretty sure that his servers are still up. The app is still working. If you've got the app installed, you can probably still use it. If you got the app on a flash drive, you should still be able to install it and use it. If you want to get the app from some other location or other app store and install it, you can still install it and use it. It's just been removed from the Google Android TV and Google Play Store. That is my take on it so far. I have not heard of it being removed from anywhere else. So that means that there's a good chance that even if the app doesn't come back to the Google Play Store, I mean, shoot, you're still going to be able to install the app. You just got to sideload it somehow, and then you can still use it the same way you've always used it. So there's multiple ways around this whole issue with the Downloader app. These are a couple of things I hadn't really heard people. I've heard people talk about the app, but I hadn't really heard people tell people about these different things. That you still can use it. You can still install it. You just have to get it from a different place instead of the Google Play Store. That being said, let's talk about the history of the Downloader app. In the recent time, just in the last few months, they've had a lot of issues where they've gone down, and they've had issues with their servers and different things where things, stopped working, and, the shortcodes stopped working and different things happen. I think they're going after Downloader. If this is happening and they're trying to remove it from the Google Play Store, I hope they're able to get it back on the Play Store. I don't wish anything bad to them. I do think, though, if people are coming after them, it's only the beginning of what's going to happen. Same thing has happened with other popular apps and popular people like TroyPoint, which has been booted off of YouTube several times in the past. And, AFTV News is just another one along those same lines that's going to run into this same. You're gonna have apps like this come and go. We've had FileLinked. It was around. It was the top one used out there, and then it left. And now there's others like AppLinked, and there's quite a few out there that you can use to get apps. But the main thing is that this app more than likely will continue to work even if it doesn't come back to the Google Play Store. That's one of the things I wanted to try to push forward to people out there, so they understood that this, even if the app doesn't come back to the Google Play Store, probably still going to run. Hey, Skulls, Pin, how's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's doing good. Just wanted to give a shout out to a couple people in the audience. That's the other thing. So like sometimes there's no legal grounds, but when you have some of the big companies or you have Ace come after you and they hit you with a lawsuit. Some of the guys running sites like this, they don't have the money to fight something like that. So when if they're hit with a civil suit, just the money involved in trying to fight a lawsuit alone, and the chances of you losing the lawsuit and losing a bunch of money is going to be enough for you to just say, hey, let's settle it. I'll take everything down. Boom, be done. So Oscar R, how you doing? So these are just a couple of points I wanted to make, and then I wanted to talk about some networking. So I kind of went over the main points of this Downloader app that I wanted to talk about, because it's a big topic right now. Everybody's talking about it, and I wanted to give everybody my take on it and let you know what my thoughts were. I'm pretty much don't worry about it. You can find lots of other ways to get apps, and you can find other ways to get the downloader app if you really want that app, until the developer decides he's going to totally scrap the app and not do the app anymore. Just because it's not on the Google App Store and just because it's not in an official app store doesn't mean the app isn't available out there. We all know there's tons of apps we get from different ways and different places that aren't in the official app store that we use to do all types of things. And unfortunately, I can't talk really about a lot of those apps to you, as far as how to do certain things, because that's against YouTube's terms of service. And I'm not advocating for piracy in any way or telling you to not to or to do or to use any particular apps. This is, however, is a legitimate app, and it really has a lot of legitimate uses. However, it does have illegitimate uses, just like Kodi, which is very legitimate as well as a as an app to use for getting your content and organizing your content, for having it all together and using it as a media center. And so it's a very good app for that. And the downloader app is along the same lines. A very good app for being able to get files onto a lot of these devices that you can't get any other way. So that's just to go over that. I did want to talk a little bit about. I finally finished moving my Plex server, and I wanted to try to talk a little bit about what that is and how I do my networking regularly. So I'm going to actually go into that a little bit and talk about that. So I basically, I don't use a NAS. My NAS is a PC. So I use a Windows-based PC that has roughly 100 terabytes of storage on it. And I do that because most of my computers are Windows, so I make everything compatible. Now, this isn't the way everybody needs to do it, but my PC is not expensive. With the i5 processor and 8 gig of RAM, it was under $100. And that PC I upgraded to an i7 and put another 4 gig of RAM into it. So it's still only running 12 gig of RAM, and it's running an i7. So, that being said, it only, I have a remote connection to it that I can connect from all my PCs, and I can connect remotely to it locally on my network, and it runs my Plex, it runs my FTP, and it runs my HTTP, and it would run any other kind of server I want to run, because Windows runs a lot more than most of your NASs out there. The cool thing about it, though, is if I go to this PC and I scroll down, I've got access to my drives. Now, these are all drives on that server. So if I'm looking at these drives here, and these are just the main drives. I've also got another one of every one of these drives that is my backup drives, which I don't leave turned on. I only turn them on when I need to do the backups. And the backups happen automatically. I'm going to talk to you about how the backups happen automatically as well. So when I can do a remote connection directly into that computer right now. And you're going to see that I am connected into the server right now. Now this is the server computer, and in here is where all the main drives are. And this particular machine is running. Let me bring this up a little bit. I had that shrunken down so you guys couldn't see everything. So this is running Plex. This is running my FTP. This is running Windows 10 Pro. So you really only need Windows 10 Pro. I am going to put Windows Server 2019 or 21 on a future version of this. But this machine is what I use to access all of my content throughout my entire network at my home. So all through my network, I can access all of my files, whether they're my personal pictures or whether they're my music or whether it's movies or whether it's YouTube content for, making YouTube videos or whatever it might be. So that's how I do that. I manage my Plex server here. So I can open my Plex here and I can go in and I can actually manage the Plex, and I can manage all the files in the Plex. So if I wanted to add something to the Plex, I can easily go in and I can add a library if I want to add a new library to the Plex. Here's all the different sections of my Plex. But I can go here and I can add a library. So if I wanted to add a movies library, I wanted to name it something, I could add the folder and I could browse the media for the folder, and I could select what drive, what folder has the media in it for that particular content, and then it would be added. And the cool thing about this is when I add content and I download a movie or a TV show, it downloads directly to my server. It doesn't download to the computer and then I have to transfer it because the drives are all mapped. So they're actual drive letters here. I can download directly to one of these drives. And as soon as it's downloaded into one of these drives, Plex automatically picks up the new movie or the new TV show. So I have no time wasted having to worry about transferring data. So that's, time saved. So I'm not going to go into how I get my content because, again, that's, not really great for terms of service for YouTube. But again, this is the Plex, and I'm going to close this down. But how do I do my backups? Well, there's a program I use called Mirror Folder. And I'm going to open that up right here. Now, this is running all the time. And if the corresponding drive gets plugged in, the Mirror Folder automatically detects it. And Mirror Folder will pick it up and automatically start mirroring the content. Mirror Folder has a lot of options when it comes to that. So if I were to go and set up mirroring on one of these drives, which mirroring is already set up on most of these drives, but if I right click on a drive, you'll notice I have an option that says mirroring. You don't normally have that unless you have the program like Mirror Folder. So we're going to go to mirroring, and then under mirroring it says mirror to. Now this is mirroring to FTP storage backup. When that drive gets turned on, which is it's in a box with switches, so I can individually turn whatever drive on I want to mirror and back up. And as soon as I turn it on, I don't have to do anything. See, the reason is under options, this is set to synchronize on startup or when connected. So as soon as it detects the drive is connected, it automatically starts the mirror, which is absolutely terrific. And there's a lot more options in here. I'm not going to go into all the options because obviously this isn't a video on this particular program. But I just wanted to talk about some of the features, some of the things I do that makes life easier. Because this is, some people talk about Synology and their backup things and this and and everything else. Let me see if anybody's got questions here. Real Urban Kings, what's good? Hello, everyone. Hi, everyone. Oscar R. Is it shared? No, my Plex is only shared with friends and family. Sorry, it's not something I plan on sharing with a whole bunch of people. I don't sell it. It's just my personal Plex. So, however, if you have questions on trying to build your own collection and you want to know the best ways to do that, you can definitely hit me up in my Telegram group, DM me, or hit me up in Discord, and I'd be happy to, lend a hand, give you some pointers on how to do that kind of stuff, because there is a lot of different ways to do it. I can tell you the quickest and best ways to do that kind of thing. There are a lot of tools out there that I can't really show on YouTube that I can tell you in private that will help you out in that area. Yeah, so I mean, this is just a basic Windows 2000 professional computer that's being used as a server. It's being used, and I'm just using it for basically four main things right now. It's being used as a file server, which makes it a NAS. So it's, I'm sharing the drives across my network. They're all password protected, set up with read-only access, except for if I'm logged in under, my proper user account that has a full access. The other thing it's being used for is 2S server, which the 2S server is right down here. Now, 2S server, what that does is this actually controls my websites. So people want to know, like, well, I have my FTP server and I have my HTTP server, and I'm not paying for hosting. That's being hosted right here in my house. So you don't have to pay for hosting to host your own website. if you set up the port forwarding properly in your router, and you get your IP address, you can actually set up your own hosting. So I've got my FTP hosting and my HTTP hosting, and all of the settings for that hosting is here for that server. So in other words, when you guys go to my server and you're getting files directly from here. You know, the cool thing about that is that server is right here in my house, and it's my NAS that's connected to my network, which means whether I'm on my computer in my bedroom, on my laptop, or on this computer here out here in the garage, or on my computer in my home theater, I can access these drives, and I can update them on the fly. I can literally download a file and throw it right on that server. I don't have to worry, about it taking extra time. Um, yeah, so that's, the basics. You can, if you learn how to set up Windows and 2S server, this server is, without all of the hard drives, is no more than $150 ballpark. And then, you get this server, and then you buy the hard drives. You can either buy an external hard drive case, or you can buy external hard drives themselves. It really depends on what you want to buy. As long as you're buying a USB 3 hard drive, you're going to be fine. I'm personally running nothing but regular external hard drives right now. I'm not running any cases with hard drives in them. I'm not running any fancy NASs. I did have a couple of Synology NASs. I had some of that stuff in the past. This is faster. It works better. It's smoother. It's a faster processor. It's more RAM. It's more versatile. It does more things, period. If I want to do something special with it, there's literally a PC program that'll do just about anything you want out there. So you don't really have any worries about that. In some ways it's more secure, in some ways not. Just depends on the point of view and how you set the machine up as far as security goes, especially on the router end as well. This computer actually isn't on the internet per se. I only have it connected to my local network. It only allows the FTP server and the Plex server to go out over those ports on the internet. So it's kind of sandboxed in a way. And then, back out to this is my other computer that I use here in the garage. That is a AMD Ryzen. That machine is a 7th gen i7, so it's not a super new machine. It's a small form factor Dell that you can literally get super cheap. So you can buy one of those things. They got great hardware in them. They're very reliable, and that would be, if you wanted to go on a budget. I mean, you can literally go on a budget, and that thing will play Plex videos smooth as silk. I mean, there's no problem with that thing playing at all. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about networking. See if anybody has any questions. Do I know how the Microsoft Edge update went? I haven't had any problem. The only thing I've noticed is that extra little search. It's got that extra little search thing that's coming up on my desktop, that you can turn off if you want to. But I haven't noticed any problems with it at all on any of my computers. So everything seems to be running fine at the moment, and I'm not having any issues. I do use Google Chrome for most of my browsing, but I have noticed that that Bing search is actually doing a better job on a lot of my searches than the Google searches. So with the new AI and the capabilities that the new Bing search has, it's working pretty well. So if any of you haven't tried that, you definitely should go check it out. The new Bing search is actually running really well and excellent. Yeah, I've had some good luck with the Bing search, and I haven't had any problems with Microsoft Edge. It works. Edge works fine. Google Chrome works fine. I'm not a fan of Firefox. When it's tested out, it's always tested. It always comes up as being the slowest browser. It doesn't have as much security. You got to load a lot of add-ins for it to do certain things. That being said, it is kind of wide open, so it does get you to some places on the internet that some of the other browsers don't have. So it might be nice to have it in there just as an extra web browser for doing some things maybe that you might not want to do. But if I do that, I'm going to go on I've got another computer right over to the right of me here. I've got another computer that I would boot up, and I'll go on that one, and I'll go on to a virtual machine if I'm going to go to any risky places that I'm worried about. And that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother topic for me to talk about virtual machines, because that's something a lot of people can do that aren't doing. And you can definitely run a virtual machine with a web browser, search for things and go places that and not have no worries, because if Windows gets destroyed, it's not your main Windows. It's you're what's called sandboxed in. You're running in a virtual environment that is completely closed off to the rest of your computer. So in that virtual machine, if it gets screwed up, you just delete it. You start over with another virtual machine. So it's, basically you're running a Windows emulator inside of Windows, and you can then run, and do all sorts of cool things that, you wouldn't normally want to do, because you wouldn't want to mess up your main Windows environment. So that's something to talk about. I don't have any virtual machine software on this computer because I don't do anything like that on this machine. This machine is not a machine that I would use in that environment. That's for my other computer that I have. This is a Ryzen. I've got another Xeon computer that I use that for. That's out here in the garage, and I've got lots of computers, so I go through them, upgrade them, change them out. I constantly changing computers out and everything. So, that is what it is when you're in the business. You're constantly updating and doing different things. But at the same time, because I got a lot of computers, I've also got to I can't have them all be like the top computers. So I got to get what's available for a good budget. So that's what keeps me budget oriented and budget minded, because I just can't go spending thousands of dollars on every single one of those computers. So I get what I can at a good price that still has good performance. So, all right. Skulls doesn't do edge. He doesn't live life on the edge. He can't deal with that. Someday you'll get there. So I want to. I really want to thank. I really want to thank everybody for coming to the show tonight. And if you have any ideas on what you would like me to do a video on, put it in the comments of this show, and I'll definitely work on a video on that. I definitely plan on a whole video. I have some pre-recorded already that I haven't finished editing. So I do have some series that I plan on pushing out on different things. Custom routers running a pfSense operating system. I do have some videos on quite a few other things that I'm doing. The computer behind me right there, there's a big old beast back there. That is a Windows XP, which is the ultimate XP computer with the ultimate of every piece of hardware you could get during the time XP was actually around. So it's actually a real XP era correct computer, which I haven't seen anybody else build anything like that. So that was a fun toy back there to build, and it actually has some really cool things that I plan on showing off in some future videos. I'm going to talk more about. I'm going to go in depth and do a bunch of Plex videos. So I'm going to do a whole Plex series, and I do want to do a series on virtual machines, and do a series on router security as well, pfSense and WRT, and there's some router stuff out there people should know more about. People go out and buy a lot of name brand routers. They get the software in the router, and that's not always the best thing to do. If you're a techie, if you really are like into it, I'm running a TP-Link router that's fairly old right now, still has good security in it, but I'm definitely planning on, when I update that, I'm not going to another TP-Link. I'm going to be building I'm going to build my own custom router I actually have a Dell computer over here that's already got pfSense on it, and I've been playing with that for over a year. And I've actually used pfSense for a lot of clients of mine that, at different job sites too. So that's what I'm really, happy about. The ability to be able to use a lot of this stuff at clients and then decide what I think is best. A lot of people don't get that kind of experience, unfortunately. So I'm trying to share some of my experiences with you guys so that you can have some of that knowledge and not run into pitfalls and buying things that maybe aren't quite right or that won't do the job great for you. All right, well, I guess what I'm going to do is, let's see here. I guess what I'm going to do is get out of here. So yeah, not a bad little show, small show. Come on here, get my feet wet a little bit, just have some fun. Come on, talk to you guys. Hope everybody's doing good and everybody has a good night. And I'm going to hopefully find some good shows to watch, and hopefully you guys do too. And I will definitely see you in the next show. You guys have a great one. Bye.